Jake Moody. If you think about it, he's the only starter who really had to play the whole game. Some starters got the whole game off. Some starters played a quarter or a half. Jake Moody had to play the whole game, which is kind of strange. Something bad could happen. Something was at stake for him. They could have sat him, but apparently, they needed a kicker because this game was so important. So he went out there and missed a 38-yarder and an extra point. I mean, is it the Niners' fault for playing him? No, they learned something about him. Really, they haven't had to rely on a kicker at all this year. They've scored more touchdowns than they've punted. This is not a team that's really doing much with special teams because their offense is so good. They win by double digits most of the time. But in the playoffs, chances are they'll find themselves in a close game eventually. A game that could come down to Jake Moody. And if we're being technical, he cost the Niners 2 games this year. This one, that didn't matter, and the Browns game, that did. So the Niners should have been 14-3 this year, and instead they're 12-5 because their rookie kicker has the yips. Maybe that's unfair to say. What did he hit? He hit his first 60 extra points. Cool. The thing about Jake Moody is not his physical talent. He can kick a ball real well, although doesn't it seem like his ball is really close to the upright every time? Shout out to Tom Jensen who noticed that. How often does he split the uprights? But that's not the issue. He's got a strong leg. He's talented. The issue is between the ears. Pressure. He hasn't really been under much this year. But like today, you'd have to say there was no pressure. The game didn't matter. The Niners could lose and they could laugh it off. And yet he missed a 38-yarder and an extra point. What's he going to do? How's he going to perform when there's real pressure? That's the question. It would be a real shame if the 49ers didn't win the Super Bowl this year because their rookie kicker wasn't mentally up to the task. What a silly way to derail a potentially historic season. And after the game, Kyle Shanahan brushed it off, laughed it off. Moody's great. He's been great all year. One of those things. You think he really feels that way? Or do you think he's kind of anxious? I'd be anxious. I would call Robbie Gould just to see what he's doing. Now, I looked at his Twitter and it looked like he was skiing. So maybe he doesn't want to kick anymore. But the Niners did sign Logan Ryan when he was on a cruise, a Thanksgiving cruise. He was like, yeah, I'll play for you, but I'm not getting off this cruise anytime soon. I'll see you in a few days. So maybe when Robbie Gould leaves the mountains, he can come and play for the 49ers. I mean, I admire Kyle Shanahan's confidence, not wavering because Jake Moody missed a couple of kicks, but like, are you really that confident in him? No one else is. He isn't that confident in him, Jake, from State Farm. They just changed Jake from State Farm, and everyone accepts it. It was a different guy. Now it's a whole different guy. Anyway, maybe they can get a different Jake Moody. Like how they switched out Jake from State Farm. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. There's a new Jake from State Farm. But we get a new Jake Moody. Looks totally different. Give him the same name, same jersey. You don't know the difference. Get Robbie Gould. Call him Jake Moody. Give him the Jake Moody jersey. That seems preferable to actually letting the real Jake Moody kick field goals. Nathan Flores says Moody is terrible. He misses right, and then his kickoffs were off to the right and short of the end zone. What power leg? Maybe he's tired. He needs to make an adjustment. Maybe he lost his focus. Pope Saggets says, anyone heard about Drake Jackson, our second pick? Yeah, I saw him in the locker room today. I mean, not the locker room, the press box. He's hurt. He's on IR. You didn't know that?